Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Negler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels on a Thursday that sees the draft prospects pining for employment in the National Football League starting to take the field there at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. In the meantime, have made my way back to New York City. You can see I'm at my regular post here in my apartment. Great time in Indy, wonderful time each and every year. And this year, I got to say, it was extra special, kicking things off with 97.3 The Game, Cheesehead TV, and the game creating Carry the G radio. Billy and I holding it down the last couple afternoons was a lot of fun. Kind of just dipping our toe in the water, so to speak, first year together. Really excited about where that's headed. You guys, if you've listened to Billy and I throughout the season, I love talking ball with him, love talking Packers with him. Feels like and sounds like we're going to be doing a lot more of that going forward, including next year in some kind of expanded capacity. Uh, just a really good time. Thanks to everybody who checked it out, who checked us out not only on the radio, but here on the YouTube channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you following along while I was in Indianapolis. And shout out to everyone who came out to the meetup last night. It was a lot of fun. Good to see a lot of folks, both, Cheesehead TV and Packers fans, but also a bunch of current and former Cheesehead TV contributors. Half of Underage Packers. Joey was there. Good to see you, Joey. Dusty Evely was in the house. And of course, international superstar, but more importantly, NFL Fan of the Year, Tom Grassi showed up. So it was a ton of fun. Really good time. And shout out to Tim with Fox there in Milwaukee coming out to did a little package, a little something about Cheesehead TV and everything about the website and the brand. It's going to be on, I believe, Milwaukee, the local Fox station on Sunday night. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Combine. It's weird that I'm back when the drills start. Usually I'm there. I have traditionally been going for like 15 years, pretty much stayed through the weekend. But this is the first year where I thought, you know what? I don't need to be there when the guys are running, making all these drills look like nothing when they're really, really tough. The coverage on NFL Network is outstanding. Already enjoying Rich and DJ doing their thing with the defensive linemen on the field. I believe they're wrapping up right now. I think the tight ends might be going next, but um, it's always good stuff. But there's no need for me to be in Indianapolis for that. So good times. Thanks for following along. If those of you who have been following Cheesehead TV for some time may have already been on the newsletter list, but we relaunched our weekly newsletter this morning. If you're interested in having Cheesehead TV in your inbox each and every week throughout this off season and going forward into the season, where we'll probably start ramping it up even more, uh, make sure you head to the link in the description of this video on YouTube for the Cheesehead Nation newsletter every week in your inbox. Tons of content around the Packers, Cheesehead TV. Again, this is just starting out. It's a lot of fun each and every week going forward. We're going to be doing that. Once we get to the season, we'll probably ramp it up to 2 times a week. Not just Cheesehead TV content, some exclusive giveaways, special subscriber only things down the line. So get on board, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of extra content for you folks out there. Finally, before I dive into your comments and everything you're talking about today, I see Dennis. Dennis Towell is in the chat. Want to give Dennis a shout out. He's here each and every day on Packers Daily. You guys know him if you're in the chat in any shape or form. He says hello to each and every one of you. I saw on Twitter he's having a real tough moment with his wife and with cancer. If you have a moment, if you're a praying type, send one up for Dennis and his family. Cancer sucks. We all know it. Do everything you can to give him support and love at this moment. He's a hardcore Packers guy. Hardcore Packers guy. And that really sucks. So give him a shout out, give him some love. And if you're a Patreon member, a Carry the G Club member, we have happy hour tonight. You can come say hi. Although Dennis, I know you don't like to talk. You do always join, and you join in the chat, but you don't like to talk on the mic, and that's fine, man. I just want to let you know we're thinking about you. I'm sending you love. All right. Hello, everybody in the comments. Hope you're all doing well, man. Hope you're all doing well. Good to see everybody. Brandy's here, of course. Brandy's here. Stu, what's up, Stu? Mr. Tundra, how you doing? Craig Rockmiller's here. What's going on? Um, David, hey Nags, I was happy to see Mike Pennell get a ring. Wonder what his ring size is. I'm going to guess extra large, possibly extra, extra, extra large. But man, he made use of those hands, not only in the Super Bowl, but throughout his entire NFL career. Packers legend, Mike Pennell, no doubt about it. Mimsy, what's going on, man? We need Soder McDonald to sing the episode title. Soder, where is I haven't seen Soder in the chat here, but uh hopefully yes. Maybe if he's on happy hour later tonight, we can get him singing Taking It to the Field. That'd be great. Glenn asks, best restaurant experience in Indianapolis. I mean, it's cliche, but I had a great meal at St. Elmo's. Billy, Andrew, and I went there on Tuesday night, and outstanding ribeye, uh, phenomenal baked potato, and a really good old fashioned. I was surprised how good the old fashioned was. So, yeah, I mean, that was the one real kind of let's get after it night that I had, and that was certainly outstanding. I totally, totally, totally recommend it. Um, what's going up? What's going on here? Everybody giving Dennis some love. I'm glad to see that. Really glad to see it, guys. Big B is here. What's up, Big B? Big B. I saw Joey this weekend. It felt kind of incomplete without you there, man. We got to get you guys getting to the combine in tandem. We got to get underage Packers some credentials. That's got to be next. Oh, Mick, who said they didn't believe in outer space when they were interviewed? I don't even want to know. I saw it on my Twitter feed this morning, and I just kept scrolling because I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I mean, for the record, everybody, space is real. Just so we're all on the same page. It is a thing. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. How good is our defense under Jeff Hafley? That's a great question, Callum. That's the big billion-dollar question at this point. I think it's going to be noticeably improved. I think they're going to be growing pains. I think that's only natural and should be expected. I am fascinated to see the marriage of the 4-3 principles that they've talked a lot about and we've heard reported on from basically every source at this point, married with a lot of the pressure stuff that Rex Ryan has basically been running, and all of his disciples, including Mike Pettin, Jim Leonard, etc. That Hafley came right out and said that's when it's time to get after the quarterback, you don't be surprised if you see some exotic stuff. I am anxiously awaiting to see what that looks like. It's funny. I will say I felt pretty proud of the fact that Cody Alexander kind of laid that all out for us way before the press conference with Hafley in Green Bay, where he was talking about those things. If you're a Cheesehead TV subscriber here on YouTube and you watch that video with Cody, you knew all that going in because he talked about it, his history and what he's gathered and learned and knows that he has in his playbook. And fun fact, I ran into Cody literally on the street in Indianapolis. He was going to see Greg Cosell, and he is just the best, greatest defensive mind working in media right now. If you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend you do so. If you are interested in the defensive side of the ball in football in any sense, like not just Packers, but NFL, college, any type of defense, make sure you're checking out Cody's work at Match Quarters because it's excellent. Soder, what's going on, man? Telling me the things you're going to do for me ain't blind and may like what I think I see, taking it to the field. There we go. We needed Soder to chime in. That absolutely had to happen. Big B, maybe I'll make my way to the combine next year. You should. NFLPA survey. Glenn says, do you think the Packers have said no to childcare in the past? That's a question for the Packers. I doubt it. I got to think they've tried to do more and more on the family side. That's the whole reason where we're allowed to go on the sideline during training camp has changed, because they've now cordoned off one half of the entire field for friends and family and made a tent so that family members can sit in the shade on those hot days, and brought ice water for them and all that. So the Packers have started to, in the last, I want to say 3 or 4 years, started to make some inroads in that regard. I don't know how much of a battle this has been behind the scenes. This is the first I've ever even thought of it, was when this NFLPA survey came out. I got to imagine it's somewhat one of those things that's been talked about, and maybe hopefully the Packers have taken note and said, we'll work on it, we'll make something happen. But hey, you don't have to look much further around in that survey to see that the Packers still have it pretty damn well. And the players there are being treated extremely, extremely well comparative to most of the teams around the league. Song of the day, Soul and Inspiration, the Righteous Brothers. Dan, that's a good track. Well done. Lucas, thanks for the super chat, man. Absolutely love being a Packers fan and how we operate, but would you like to see us go all in one of these seasons, i.e., trade premium picks for a star? No, I would absolutely hate that. I understand the desire, the impetus, so to speak. I get why fans, I want to say, get impatient and they want to see kind of movement or activity, but that's kind of what it is. It's just doing it to do it. Yes, it'd be great. You need star players, premium players. They help you win football games. No question about it. But if you want to build yourself for long-term success, you go about it the way the Packers have. And I understand it's frustrating that they get close in these playoff games and they lose. And you see a team like the Chiefs win multiple rings and you think, why can't we do that? You know, I'd much rather the Packers operated the way they do rather than, say, the Los Angeles Rams, who did exactly what you're talking about, right? They loaded up, they won a ring. Now, they're trying to claw their way back after a, somewhat disappointing season. Now, 2 years ago, they were really hurt. And then last year, that injury to Stafford, etc. But, who knows how long it'll be before they're consistent winners slash contenders again. Whereas sure feels and looks like the Packers are set up for another kind of decent run here where they'll undoubtedly have a moment where they can jump up and hopefully win a Super Bowl. I don't know, man. I appreciate the way the Packers operate. I think some of this is generational. Lucas, I don't want to throw out aspersions here, but I would suspect you're probably a little younger than I am. And if you only known winning, right, the frustration is probably even more kind of ingrained because you do see your team get so close each and every year. The frustration mounts. Why can't we close the deal? So you think, okay, what can we just go all in, quote unquote, and just trade for somebody that's going to make the difference? It's rarely, if ever, one player away. Just ask the Jets, right? But two, as someone who is older, man, I appreciate the winning. I appreciate those playoff runs because I remember not making the playoffs for a decade plus in, my youth. And I was just talking about this at the meetup last night. I remember the year I think Infante was the coach, and we beat the Vikings in the last game of the season and just missed the playoffs. We could have made the playoffs heading into that Sunday, but things transpired. Packers won, but they didn't make the playoffs. But we celebrated like we not only got into the playoffs, but like we'd won a playoff game. Like it was the most happy I had been as a Packers fan, as a young man, up until that point, other than the strike shortened season when we went to the playoffs and beat the Cardinals. Like it was that level of excitement. Now, look, I know the standard is a standard, right? It's called Title Town. We're not excited about playoff runs because that's what you want them to do. That's what they should be doing. They're the Green Bay and Packers, right? But the surest way to send yourself back to those days is to do what you're suggesting. Now, yes, you could strike gold. You could hit it out of the park. Maybe you add a star player, maybe even two, and you go on that run and you win that Super Bowl. The odds are very, 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 very slim, but you could do it. Absolutely. And then, of course, you've got to try and keep that team together, which is probably going to be pretty tough. Just ask the Rams. I like the Packers model. I like the way they operate. It's not the only way to work. Plenty of other ways to go about it in the NFL. I appreciate it. I really enjoy it, actually. So that's just me. I am just one man who just happens to have a microphone. What else we got here, folks? We got Joe. What's going on? With LaFleur and Halfley talking about vision-based defense, will we be looking at a lot of cover three? That's my guess on early downs. But I suspect, again, when we're talking about these pressure packages and the exotic blitzes that Halfley wants to employ on, I guess, obvious passing downs, third and long, etc., maybe we see a little bit more man on those downs. But yeah, I would suspect that would be the model, right? Some of the stuff that Carroll ran in Seattle with the Legion of Boom, some of the stuff that Saleh ran with the 49ers and with the Jets. I think, yeah, there's a good chance we'll see quite a bit of that. Ed Pierce, what's going on? Space, as in the Vikings trophy case, a vast empty place. I love this chat. Raha, what's going on? In the 49er game, you could see the clear difference between their tackling and ours. How do we get that? Is it more coaching or players? That is a great question. I think some of it is play style. I think some of it is drafting tacklers. I've talked about this forever. Like, the Packers do seem to have a penchant for siding with the idea of we want athletes with extremely high upside instead of finding guys who can maybe not, who maybe aren't these all world athletes, but are really good tacklers. I'll never forget that first month when Rasul Douglas came from the Cardinals and started getting extensive playing time. You could see the difference. You could see that he hadn't been brought up in Green Bay's kind of culture and Green Bay's way of working. Even this year, first part of the season before they traded him, he jumps off the screen every game as looking different in that regard. So I don't know, man. I hope Halfley and a lot of new coaches, which seems every day we're getting new updates about who they're adding to Halfley's side of the ball there on defense. But lots of guys with defensive back experience, lots of guys who are supposedly really good teachers. I'm hoping that makes a difference, man. No, regardless of who Brian brings in, because yeah, you gotta be able to tackle when you get to the NFL, and you can hone the technique, but man, it's hard. It's hard. We'll see. Christopher, what's going on? Would love to see you and Grossi talk ball. Sending love to Dennis and his family. Thank you, Christopher. I mean, let me tell you, last 2 nights ago, on Tuesday, when I was with Tom at Prime in Indy, that was a really good time. Not just with Tom, but with everybody. Johnny was there. Shout out, Johnny. Shout out to everybody, man. We saw everybody. Like, my Twitter feed came to life. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good time. I saw some Packers people there too, which is good. And yes, always love talking to Tom. He's so big time now, man. He ain't got time to talk to Rink Dink Cheesehead TV. Come on now. But I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll do something this offseason. Dustin, what's going on? Nags, have a drink on me. See you at training camp. Thank you, Dustin. You know what? That's a good idea. I think I shall have a drink. There you go. Steve, you youngins don't remember when a Packer QB having more TDs than interceptions was a winning season. Yeah, that's not too far off, man. It's sad. That's not too far off. Oh, Rai. Would Green Bay have won the Super Bowl in 97, 98 if they had Sterling Sharp? Yes. How's that? Chris says, I enjoyed the playmaker by committee last year instead of just having one or two good players. Well, look, why not both, right? I don't have any problems with adding a quote star, or developing a star and finding someone who becomes this bona fide number one, go and kill it each and every down. And then you have a lot of other guys that can hurt you. I got no problem with either approach. But again, why not both? Why can't you have somebody who, is able to strike fear in the hearts of defensive coordinators while also being able to be multiple and having them worry about which guy is going to kill you this time around? I got no issue with the way the Packers are kind of spreading things around on offense, though I do think Christian Watson still has the ability and the upside to become that type of weapon, right? Obviously, we all know the issue is he's got to stay on the field. If he's ever able to do that consistently, he's going to put up absurd numbers. That's just without question. He's got to stay on the field. That's all. That's all that is. Soto, what's going on, man? Does the Viking trophy case have a Norwegian blue in it? Well played. Well played, sir. Oh, John, excellent. This is probably one of my favorite random Packers yet. Random Packer, Ezra Johnson. Ezra Johnson, talk about one of my favorite players growing up. That is an excellent choice, sir. Well done. Stuck on some teams that, probably weren't that great, but I loved Ezra, man. He was fun to watch. Joseph says, Nagler, I learned that the NFLPA survey was taken mid-season, so that could explain a lot of the Green Bay results. I don't buy that. Yeah, I saw that too. I don't think that plays into it much, if at all. I mean, they're talking about the facilities and stuff, right? Now, there's the one thing about LaFleur and his communication or whatever, but a lot of that will probably be festered and fostered during training camp when there was no win or loss record. And I just, yeah, I don't buy that. I think it has a lot more to do with the actual treatment and facilities more than anything else. Craig, what's going on? Hey, Nags, you're a good dude. You always make me laugh and help me take my mind off stuff when life gets hard. You get it. Thank you. That's really nice of you to say, man. Thanks. I did an interview last night for the Fox TV thing with Tim, and one of the things I kind of tried to underline and tried to get across, and I continue to try and get across here on these chats and whenever we're doing any kind of content. I mean, I know we're all dealing with tons of shit in our daily lives that isn't related to the Green Bay Packers, right? So when you come here to Cheesehead TV, I want it to be this. I want it to be, yeah, we're hanging out, we're talking ball. It's about the Green Bay Packers and our love and connection to the team and to each other as fans. We can all have really different backgrounds and really different things going on in our life. But man, this is like a sanctuary where we can just, kind of leave that at the door and just talk about the Packers and how much we love them and how that connects us and what that means to us and just finding like-minded souls, what have you. But I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I myself have been dealing with some shit in my life in the last couple of weeks, and it is great to be able to just kind of melt into the Packers community and get away from all that for a bit each and every day. The days of people like Jim Del Gazzo, oh, the pain. That's funny. Mr. Inglewood, what's going on? Pack will draft a Kenny Clark replacement. Book it. Ooh, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that word replacement, but I hear you. Can we go with the heir to Kenny Clark? How about that? I prefer that nomenclature. That's just me. I understand what you're saying, and I agree they probably will. But replacement, not a fan of that word. This is me. I'm being picky, but I think you're probably right. Oh, Glenn, is this even a question? Detroit or Green Bay, 2024 division champs? It's Green Bay. Come on now. Come on now. Detroit. They had their moment. They raised their banner. I'm very excited for them. And now the Packers are going to be back on top. Hope they enjoyed it. Really hope their fans enjoyed getting really close to the Super Bowl and then watching their team hang a banner for it. Lord, can you imagine? Could you imagine if the Packers hung banners for division championships? They'd have to build a whole new facility. I mean, my goodness. Ezra Hot Dog Johnson. Almost forgot that scandal, LOL. That's an outstanding pull. Man, those were the days back when dudes were eating hot dogs on the side in the sideline. So good. We need more rafters. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, everybody. I'm going to have to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Patreon members, Gary the G Club members, I'll see you at the top of the hour on Happy Hour. The rest of you, hit like, hit subscribe. See you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Have a good night. Go Pack Go.